Do you know I stole this from your house?
Yeah, I saw it sitting on the counter today, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And it was by the door too, so it's like, oh, maybe he's leaving it there for me to take on my way out. And then I don't know. Somehow you got it back into your hands.
Welcome back, people. Mike Frank, Christian Olson, Frank Oliver Collective here, talking to you guys about a couple things going on this fall. We were just talking about hurricane restoration. I feel like finally, just like. After the wedding, I've got to tell you,
I fucking bet. Like, I can only imagine like scheduling or like planning like the biggest day of your life with your significant other, now your wife, and then also like running your business, being a team leader, like all these things combined, and it just probably, I don't know how you did it, because sometimes I get stressed out. Just what the fuck am I gonna have for dinner?
Do you want to know the thing that was the most compelling about the whole entire week?
Hit me with it. I don't know.
The most compelling thing for me is exactly like I say it all the time. It's creating an opportunity for my family first, right? So making the weekend special for Amanda, my parents, her parents, our family, inviting everyone in from out of town, coordinating all those moving pieces, like that fills me up.
Yeah, her parents were cool.
Her parents are
the first time I met
awesome.
them, dude. Her dad was boogieing on the dance floor. Dude was having the time.
I think
of his
that was
life.
after he had his speech, though.
Yeah. Was he like nervous leading up to it?
He wasn't allowed to drink all day long.
Oh,
the problem. It's not a problem. It's a wonderful thing. The thing about Joe is that Joe, like, he has one cocktail and immediately
gets loose.
Oh, it's not even like drunk. It's almost like a door. It's a Narnia door, right? You open the door and all of a sudden you're in, right? It's not even about how much you drink or anything. So he said to himself, I'm not even going to drink at lunch. Everybody sat at lunch and had a drink, and he sat there at the end of the table like this. He just didn't even, because for That's him, hilarious. It's a Narnia door, and he wanted to be present in the moment and everything else. And then he gave his speech, and then it was just an open game. We had a wonderful weekend, but it was so much energy that went into it, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah, man. Like, again, I can only imagine balancing all of those things, like everything going on in your life, dude. Like, probably had so much like weight on your shoulders or like on your mind.
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed. You know? So, I mean, it was all for a beautiful moment, a beautiful day, beautiful night.
It was.
And a weekend, you know?
And we're back to work.
And talking about hurricanes and stuff. Speaking of, like, how many insurance claims do you think go live right after hurricanes?
Let's get Jeff Bisker here.
Honestly, like, well, I was thinking about that because the one comment that you made, I don't know, like a year ago on one of his videos, like there was a rainstorm or a hailstorm, then immediately he made a video about home insurance and rainstorms, things like that. And then you were like, these insurance agents all fucking coming out now.
Yeah, right.
You know? And I think the same thing with like these like the hurricane. I'm
gonna flip this back to real estate for like a half a second and just say we don't talk enough about our profession until it's needed.
That's true.
Right? Like we don't spend enough time talking to our clients about real estate until they have a hurricane, right? We don't have the conversation until this morning I had a conversation with a client that essentially went like this. Hey, I have good news for you. You have something to share with me. Let's talk. And she was like, okay. And I said, hey, we got married. Yay, exciting. Second good news. I know they're VA. I know they are 100% disabled. They had a really hard time getting qualified because they were right under the threshold of where they wanted to be. And now the 100% disabled thing, we can get a waiver signed by the state to allow them to utilize. Exactly. Saturday. So first thing I do Monday morning is call them.
Yeah.
Right. And she says, oh, I have information for you. Okay, great. So we have this back and forth conversation. And she's like, yes, that sounds like something I want to take on. I said, well, is it something that you want me to put you in touch with mortgage lender today? Or is it something that's more of a long-term goal for you? And she said, well, I'd like you to put me in touch with the mortgage lenders today. So I said, perfect.
Yeah.
And we're having the conversation and it's slow and steady. And they, happens chance, live in a 3-story townhome and they're a little bit older. And they've always said their dream would be to get into a rancher style home. So now we're having the conversation before Mr. Perkins needs a hip replacement. Which is the truth. That's the true situation here.
Yeah,
but most people wait until Mr. Perkins needs a hip replacement, can't walk the stairs, then they call their real estate agent.
And then they need the rancher.
And then they need it, right? Now they're buying out of fear, they're buying out of necessity, they're buying in a limitation. And same thing with hurricane season, right? If your house is blown over by a hurricane, all of a sudden you're calling your insurance company, you're calling your real estate agent, you're trying to flood the mortgage lender. Why weren't you taking the necessary precautions beforehand to put yourself in a place to go, this house can float, we got a boat. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I just think there's so many things out there to like, there's so much knowledge out there. Yeah. And to know everything, it's tough. Like
how they get that little wheel of cheese inside of the wax wrapper.
It should just go in the trash. You know? How they seal it off. But what was I going to say?
Well, you were saying to know everything.
To know everything, right? And like dealing with everything on like a day-to-day basis, like everyday life, work, social life, family, friends, everything, right? Like what you have to do. It's just like not everybody makes time for those things. And I'm not saying they should or they shouldn't, right? But like there's so many things going on.
I'm saying they should.
Well, they definitely should.
Definitely should.
But like
to your point, you have clients that are calling you, their real estate agent, 20 years younger than them, to help them with common routine maintenance.
Right. My main point here is that people aren't thinking like homeownership includes all like they
That's
don't
what
think.
I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and it's not even like, oh my God, I now
but
have
I think
to
it's
fix
the way
roof. It's the mentality around I don't have to worry about the roof.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I have a leak and then it's like a major problem.
Right. But I think it's kind of like an industry or some kind of like standard. I don't even say standard, but like this, I don't know, I can like a fucking better terms. Yeah, that's not it. But people don't associate those things with like, oh, this is what homeownership's about. Right. It's not even like something that really like crosses their mind again until it happens. So like the whole industry, I feel like is kind of like that. Like whether you're an insurance agent or real estate agent for that rancher or that hurricane came through or whatever. Right. Like no one thinks like, oh, you need to know this.
There's an entire industry, an entire segment of the healthcare industry that didn't exist, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years ago. Healthcare maintenance. That's an entire segment of an industry that didn't exist because people just neglected their healthcare maintenance.
But
it's the same thing. Real estate.
That's my thing because I don't even know what the fuck healthcare maintenance is.
Well, I mean, healthcare maintenance is like healthy living, healthy lifestyle, getting up and mobile. Like, you know, when you're retired and you don't have as much going on, you don't have as much motivation to wake up in the morning and make yourself breakfast and go for a walk and get your body moving, right? Yeah. And there's an entire segment of the industry that's guided towards coaching people to live that lifestyle, right? I mean, it's the same thing with Weight Watchers and everything else. And yet here in real estate, there's no such thing as Weight Watchers. There's the handyman, the contractor, your real estate agent, and your insurance agent. I mean, like, that's really what it is. There's no such thing as like, hey, by the way, on Saturday morning, let's go outside and rake leaves. It's like...
That's very interesting. Yeah, you're right.
It just doesn't exist. People have it inherently inside of them, and then they don't. I can even think of one of our clients that doesn't have the maintenance knack, but takes care of their property so well. Reggie and Tamika. Every time I go to their house, it's beautiful.
Really?
The outside is maintained. The grass is mown. The edges are done. The front... They have like a bench and with like pillows and cushions, and it's always clean and looks like someone swept it off and took care of it. But yet, like the goofy things, like the gutters leak, falling off the house because they don't have the maintenance part of it, but they just inherently inside of them know that they have to keep a clean house.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just think that people need to spend more time learning about insurance, learning about real estate, learning about home maintenance, to get to where they want to go rather than waiting until a problem.
Yeah, that's the one thing that, like, for me, thinking I'm going to buy a house in the next 12 months, what do I want to buy and what do I want to fucking deal with and maintain? Because I don't want to be living, like, over my budget and then also have to, like, I don't want to be cutting the grass every fucking Sunday. If I do, I don't want it to be a massive yard. Like... maybe it'll change by the time I get into the market, right? But like people don't think about these things like a pool, right? Like you have to maintain that. That is a huge...
Can I like go deeper on you real quick?
Sure.
All right. So
Get deep.
You don't want to mow a massive yard. You don't want to maintain it. Well, having been in the landscape industry prior, I can tell you the difference between an easily maintained yard and a difficult to maintain yard. I can tell you the difference between a mower that's going to work swiftly and move quickly versus a mower that just is fast. It's different. The ability to turn, the ability to go straight, the ability to cut a large swath, the ability to do what you're going to do efficiently. I know there's people that are out there that are spending an hour and a half, 2 hours a week on their home garden maintenance. But like we have 2 acres and at best I'm spending 45 minutes.
See, that's not that bad.
Right.
What do you think about
because the machine that we have to maintain it does it in a way that I need to get it done. And I prioritize and do. There's other ways to trim down your time of the consummation of taking care of your home.
Yeah.
Right. You don't just have to call someone.
I feel like people also look at it the way that I'm looking at it too. Is like, it's just another thing to add to the list. And I know it's not a way that I should be thinking right now, but like, I need to change some of that, right? Especially if I want a yard or if I want a certain style of home. But also people like, oh, like with this home, I have to get this lawnmower, then I have to do this, and I have to do like, yeah, that's what fucking home ownership's about.
The thing that I hate, then this is just a weird thing. I would hate this more than my yard currently. I would hate to live in an interior row home where I had to get out back and mow the backyard, walk all the way around the front of the property with my mower, mow the front yard, and then walk all the way to the back. That would be awful. I hate that.
Yeah.
I would send a goat out there before I did that. Like, it's awful.
Dude.
but like
one of my clients is talking about getting goats just to cut grass and run. They have a friend that has this business and they just get like a stake in the ground and then like this.
They let the goat. Yeah.
Yeah. And he fucking goes to town on it.
I mean, whatever. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just a different way of thinking.
Could you imagine seeing a goat in like Baltimore City, like a backyard?
Yeah, there are goats in the city. There's one spot. I know exactly where it is.
Where?
It's on Northern Parkway, like between Harford Road and Perring Parkway.
We need a field
Harford
trip to
Road
the
and Bel Air Road.
fucking petting zoo
It's
right now.
the weirdest thing. Yeah. I'll show it to you one time. But like, this is the thing. The thing is that a hurricane comes through, destroys your house, and you 1-800 the insurance agent. Like the insurance agent's going to have all your solve.
Yeah.
The reality is that your insurance agent is so low on the totem pole that you're assuming that your backed history of insurance is there to protect you. And the problem is that it costs so much to rebuild what you've already lost that it's a lose-lose proposition unless you make that call to your insurance agent.
Here's another thought. When people are going to put their house on the market to make it a little bit more attractive to sell, how easy is it for them to claim hail damage to get a new roof?
How easy is it to them to claim?
Because one of my clients that moved here from, I say the Midwest, when they were selling their home, or I guess when they bought that home out there, the owner, they were like, we want to get a new roof, like they had some damage to it. And the owner, the seller, just filed a claim to the insurance company, and they didn't have to pay out of pocket, I don't think. Maybe some small deductible, but they got an entire new roof.
Yeah.
And then the buyers got a new roof, and then...
Yeah, look, I don't know enough about that. I know there's people that do it. I know there's businesses that prey on that. I also know there's something in the Cavers report, the depths of the back end of the insurance world, that shows how many claims you've made. And especially in today's insurance world, they're going to start jacking up your premiums because you're
made that claim.
Person. Yeah, dude, like 3, 5, 7 years ago, an insurance premium on a house was easily $600, $800 a year. Now, $1,600. Some houses are $2,700.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're not having the conversation with your insurance agent about how to best prepare and take care of your home, there's only 2 types of roofs, those that leak and those that don't. If you have a hurricane come through and rip off a couple shingles, maybe you get those shingles repaired without calling the roofing company to come out and do a major replacement. Maybe you go through and you have the hail damage evaluated to look at what a routine repair would cost you versus the cost of having the roofing company come out, replace the whole roof at no cost to you, just a deductible, plus your insurance premium going up for the next 20 years. It's like we're not thinking enough about it, which goes back to our original point. If you're not having a conversation with your doctor, your lawyer, your real estate agent, your insurance agent, not to make us important, that's not that important, but if you're not having those conversations, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's very interesting. I'm not a fan of the fucking home insurance agency like world now.
I think the whole insurance world is really, really tough. It's no different than the financial world. I think the financial world is a mess. John has a name for this. I'm not going to throw it out there, but John has a name for this. And it's like the world only exists because way back when it was unattainable for the common person to do. And so they had a financial advisor. But now the common person can go do that without a financial advisor. So having one is a convenience or a trust or a companionship thing in your adventures to financial advisory. By the way, I have a financial advisor and I love her. So I'm not talking shit about it. I'm just saying it's a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
The insurance world works the same way. You could go online, lemonade.com. What's the elephant one? The Shacks.
I don't know.
There's like different insurance companies out there, and you can create an opportunity to provide your own securities. Or you call a 1-800 insurance company, or you have a dedicated insurance agent, which is what I prefer. Without the knowledge of all of your options, you can't even choose the one that's right for you, and you always think that someone's out to get you. The industry sucks. But if you make the decision to go to the Jeff Biskers of the world and say, hey, Jeff, what do I do? When your house gets blown over by a hurricane, you better assume that you and Jeff made the best decisions. Don't call Jeff and yell at him.
Yeah.
He didn't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what I find people do is they pick up the phone, they call a real estate agent. They're like, that person's going to give me more money. They're actually not, right? Or you said that my house is worth less. Well, I gave you an estimate of what your house is worth. It's just a matter of perspective.
Mindset,
right? As you look into today's market as a buyer, it's a mindset. It's a perspective. We have this conversation at the home buyer event.
I had a conversation with one of my clients, and he made a pretty good point. He's like, oh, I've heard interest rates are crazy, but I've a lot of people told me if you can just bite the bullet with a higher monthly payment, you'll see it on I don't want to say back end, but you'll see it come back to you in 12 months, 18 months, whatever that may be. And it's that's one of the the first buyers I've ever heard someone say that directly to me. I'm like, oh, you're in a good space here.
The person that lives this verbatim more than anyone else I've ever met in my life. And I shudder to say this and I hate it. I love this guy, but at the same time, I hate that I'm using him as an example. Justin Buonamo came to me, all 3-piece suit, pea coat, fancy car, whatever. I'm going to buy this house. And I was like, this house sucks. And let me tell you 5 reasons why, right? We talked about it. We went to the next house. He's like, I'm going to make an offer. And I was like, all right, this is much more like what you told me you wanted. What kind of an offer do you want to make? House had been on the market for 25 days, whatever. He's like, I'm going to offer him full price. And I was like, okay. He's like, I'm not even going to ask for any closing cost help. And I was like, are you sure? I come from this mentality of negotiate, drive down the price, get the best deal. And Justin was like, yep, that's the one. I'm done. Of course, the sellers accepted it. Didn't ask for any home inspections, repairs, went right into the deal and was like, great house. Calls me a couple weeks later. He's like, yeah, man, we had a leak. And I was like, oh, that's awful. And he's like, nah, I mean, it's no big deal. We're going to fix the sink and we're going to do this and we're going to do this and we're going to do this. And I'm excited. Whereas normally I get that phone call that's like, we had a leak. And I go, oh my God. And they go, what is the seller going to do? And I'm like, it's your house now.
Yeah.
The mentality that he aligns to it is like, this is my house. I'm good. This is going to be good. All things are going to be good. No matter what happens, I'm going to be excited. This is the world that I live in. Fast forward a couple years. They've renovated the house, made it beautiful. They go to list the property. They list it for top dollar for the neighborhood. They get an offer. They sell the house for way more than anything else in their neighborhood has ever sold for. We worked really hard to get that price. We worked really hard to get the appraisal to support the value. We were ready to move on. Great. They find their next house. Oh my God. No way. Nobody wants to take a 9% interest rate. He bought his house. Again, same thing. This is the one. I love it. It's outdated. I don't care. No inspections, no appraisal. Don't even care. 8.5% interest rate. He was able to get the bank down to blah, 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 blah. And now today, people are looking at an 8% interest rate like it's commonplace.
Yeah.
So 6-8 months ago, the dude was like ahead of the game. Just ahead of the game. Always the mentality of this is where I'm going. Doesn't matter the outside influence. And so many people are focused on like getting $10,000 off the sale of their home.
Yeah.
What's the difference? What's the difference? In, what did he say? In 12 months, 18 months, it's going to pay you back for it?
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, it's just like the mentality of like, again, understanding. He understands the outside influence, but he's not going to let it stop him from doing what he wants to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a huge takeaway. And then being able to like, I don't know, digest that yourself and really kind of keep that mentality, you know, I don't know, it speaks for itself.
I think ultimately the impact that we have is what we put out. And so this guy having this mentality of like, whatever, it's going to be what it's going to be. This is a shitty thing to say, but it's almost engaging you more. Like you're like, oh yeah, this is awesome. Let's go find a house. Let's go do this.
Yeah.
Versus the other guy that's like, $30,000 less than asking price. And you're like, why am I even showing you this house?
Right.
It's not to say that he's not going to be able to negotiate. It's like the mentality that comes along with it. It's powerful, it's cultivating, and it's motivating to get you moving forward.
I would agree.
So for me, I'm looking at property today and I'm like, okay, it's a little bit too expensive for what I need. I've set my definite of what my boundaries are. I've set my expectations of what I want in today's market. And if it's not right, it's not right. And as we watch interest rates fluctuate and go up and down with the futures and all the other things, great. It's literally has no impact because the house that I want isn't even on the market. So great.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else can you say?
I'll call the owner for you.
I mean, bro, there are so many opportunities out there right now, especially with like assumable mortgages, which is something that I think we really need to be digging into.
It's just like, I don't know.
So hard.
What do you mean they're so hard?
It's hard to find. Hard to find the match.
Well, yeah, because not everybody has 60 to 400 grand in their pocket.
Right.
You know, and that's like, I don't know, another thing that like there's a misconception about. Like everyone can just do a VA assumable loan. Everyone can just take this. Everyone, you know, like, oh, I saw this, I want to get it. You mean I can get this 2.5% interest rate and just have this loan at 500,000? No, because they only owe 300 left on the mortgage.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I think we should always keep like pumping information out, trying to educate the people, but they also have to have that mindset like, oh, I'm going to bite the bullet. This is what I'm going to do. This is what, like,
yeah.
They like go together.
Right.
They go together.
Also, by the way, as we're talking about this, when you come to your real estate agent and you say, hey, I want to bite the bullet, I want to buy a property, but I only want this. And then your real estate agent says, awesome, I'm going to go do this. 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 And oh, by the way, do you want to sign a buyer's agency agreement with me? And you go, no. What?
Like, this is my job.
This is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're not even talking about compensation or value or anything else. We're talking about like, you want this. I'm going to do all these things. Will you sign an agreement with me that says that when I do these things, you buy a house, you buy it with me? No. Why would I do these things for you?
Right.
It's like the mentality that we have aligned to this industry is just out of alignment.
There's so many things out of alignment.
And that's why there's wax covered cheese. Because in the end of the day, somebody wants that cheese.
That is, I hate that you said that.
It's true though.
Right. That's what makes me hate it even more.
Right.
That is the worst fucking cheese. It shouldn't exist. Just like all these stupid like misconceptions, shit about the industry. You know what we're saying. I just can't. God, that cheese is awful.
And yet a good craft American single fucking rocks my world.
It slaps, dude.
But it's not right or wrong for anybody. It just means that there's different shit for different people.
Yeah.
And then you have the people that go to like the Wegmans olive bar and they pick all their fucking olives. It's fucking gross.
People do that?
But yeah, I feel like you're one of those people.
What?
Go to the Wegmans olive bar.
I don't like olives.
Oh, okay, perfect. Whew.
Ew.
Oh, God.
What do you mean? Like they just pick them out one by one?
Bro, have you ever been?
No.
Okay, see, you can't even talk. If you go to the Wegmans,
There's just an olive bar. What does that even look like?
It's a fucking bar. Like someone could stand in the middle and like point out the different olives. They're under like the glass screen, you know? And you could literally like scoop them out into like a little clamshell container and you take them by weight. Different
That's
kinds
wild.
of olives. It's disgusting.
Also,
It's the fact that they exist is disgusting.
olives or the bar.
Both of it.
Thank you.
But like, that's why it exists, is that there's different strokes for everybody. And in today's market, the only thing that everyone should really understand is exactly what you said, which is that we need to be taking more time to evaluate and realize what we want. And what did he say? He said, just
Bite the bullet.
bite the bullet. Yeah.
You know? But I wouldn't even say bite the bullet. He just has like a more positive outlook and like understand what he wants to do and understand that he can still do it without letting these other outside influences affect him, you know? Biting the bullet, I would say, isn't the way that I would always refer to it, but like he understands the outcome afterwards, but like, I don't know.
I feel like bite the bullet gets a negative connotation.
That's
because
why
it's
I'm
like
saying
a speed to lead kind of conversation.
Right. And that's why I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not my favorite, but like where he's going on the back end with that and where he knows he's going to be ended is like what I'm there for.
With so many variables in tow, just bite the bullet. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And then the rest of them can come to play. Like you could say, oh, I only want to be in this neighborhood. That's fine.
Yeah.
But you can't only want to be in this neighborhood at this price, with this condition, at this timeline.
With this acre.
I mean, right.
At some point, it like, I don't want to say it's impossible, but like you have to understand like reality and how the world works. Almost.
That's not even true. Not even true.
Why?
It's not impossible. As long as
I didn't say it wasn't. Did I say it was impossible?
as long as all the other things line up.
Well, yeah. That's
So
what,
like,
yeah.
if your bite the bullet is a smaller yard, okay, you're willing to bite that bullet. I'm willing to take that one.
Yeah.
If your bite the bullet is more price, okay, I'm willing to take that one. If your bite the bullet is more time, more uncertainty, more discomfort, that's okay. That's your thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's whatever bullet caught. And I think, I don't know what I did. I broke it.
You turned on your mic. You're good now.
Am I good?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry. I broke it. If your bite the bullet is time, you know what your bullet is. You're willing to work through it.
But
and
also,
wait.
but also, I think this is the same mentality that you have towards like inspections, and you said it perfectly this Saturday. It's like this is like a foundation or like a benchmark of what we're gonna do.
Right. Because
Right? It's not like, oh, again, what is the seller gonna do for me?
Right.
And it's not like, oh, the water heater's 35 years old. I want a brand new one because the home inspection isn't for like those just maintaining things in the home, right?
right.
It's the same kind of like mentality. And I just love the way that you had said it on Saturday, and I think it's relatable.
Well, it's a benchmark,
in this way.
and it is really a benchmark because I think about my own home and I think about all the things that somebody could come in and go boom, 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 boom. All these little things, teeny tiny little itty bitty things, and I'm not saying they're not important.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is it doesn't impact my ability to live here.
Yeah.
And yet a buyer comes in and they're like, that's going to impact my ability to shower. I need my water heater replaced. It doesn't though.
Yeah.
It's a benchmark. So now we know this is what the water heater looked like. This is the age of it. I'm thinking about it. If the water heater breaks, now I already know that maybe it needs to be replaced or maybe it'll last another 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's things in place to help you through that. And sometimes people don't want to hear that shit. They just want to hear, I just want a new water heater.
Shameless plug. We have our new office, if you guys don't already know, 3858 Falls Road in Hamden. Super exciting. We've been doing renovations and we're cleaning and we're preparing and we're painting and we're getting the house ready for sale. Not for sale, for moving in, right? And as we're doing this, I'm saying to myself, man, this is crazy. I didn't realize how easy this was. I didn't realize how much went into this. I just knew in my head that this needed to happen. And that price that somebody wanted to charge me for it was unacceptable.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop my forward momentum. And I feel like if you just take that moment to like commit to it.
Bite the bullet and go to YouTube. Figure out how to fucking do it.
Seriously.
Dude, YouTube's my best friend. When I would work on my Harley, when I would work on my car before I had the Tesla, like I would just go to YouTube, figure everything out.
Right.
And I might be in the garage for 5 hours in the fucking heat in summer.
Right.
But like I get it done. I don't need to pay $1,000, $2,000 for someone else to do it.
And like big facts right now, safety first. right?
Yeah,
Before you do anything electrical, make sure you shut off the power to whatever you're working on. Before you do anything plumbing, make sure you shut off your plumbing main. If not, shut off right there at the fixture, shut off the main as well, right? Safety first. But these home improvement projects are not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
You just have to take the next step and commit to it. I've been shocked at what I've been able to accomplish, and I'm no handier than anybody else. I've just learned and grown through YouTube, through some experience, through making some mistakes. And now I think about like our house and what somebody's going to come in and say. It's like home inspection is going to come out and point out 50 million things. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It still functions.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so shameless plug for that. Anyway, we will catch up with you guys real soon. We'd love to know more about what you want to hear about, not just the waxy cheese.
They honestly didn't hear that much about it, but if you like that stuff, gosh, it's disgusting.
Oh my God, you guys. Christian was on a rant earlier today about this. The little, what is it, Baby Bell? Blue Baby?
I don't even know what it's called.
Is Baby Bell the round one?
It's Baby Bell.
Those are the little ones.
Yeah.
I ignore
What's the one that's the round one that's like divided into 8 little sections?
I've never seen.
know.
I've never
Cow
had
cheese?
I've never had that one. But like
those
that
things
wax
are
cheese,
awesome.
like you take one bite of it, I just want to spit it out of my fucking mouth.
It's not that bad.
No, dude, it's not it.
Go to the Wegmans Olive Bar and then
That's
tell me.
one. That's one bullet I'm not willing to bite.
Right, but you never know until you try.
I'm going
it.
to string cheese.
Anyway, you know where to reach us at frankoliverco.com. There is some information on 7 tips and tricks to help you buy a house today in the fall. If you guys have any questions, you know where to reach us. Go to our resources, our blog. You could go to About Me, find out a little bit more information and how to contact us at michael.frank___ on Instagram, or you can always reach out.
You can find me on Instagram at Christian the Deadhead, and all my information will be there.
Love it. Talk to you guys soon.
Deuces.
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching. For more information on the housing market, Real Estate 101, how you can leverage your position in today's market, and so much more, click on the link below. If you like this video or have a burning real estate question you'd like us to answer, leave us a comment and let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you again real soon.